In the following lesson, we'll briefly be looking at the light setup and diagram. Firstly, why is it important to understand the light diagram? Point number one, so that you can replicate the out-of-camera image to 100%. Secondly, to understand what not to do with your light setup. Great, so let's move over now to the light setup. Firstly, I'll brief you on what you need. First of all, you'll need a yellow background. You'll need a background stand system, 3 82-inch silver end-lined umbrellas without diffusing material, octabox with diffusing material, or again also a beauty dish if you don't have an octabox, 2 black painted polyboards, also one side black and one side white, 1 small strip polyboard for a bit of fill light, some strobe systems and stands, a camera and a model. On the screen now you also get to see the complete light diagram. Now I've also placed some numbers here so you can easily understand what I'm talking about. First of all, point number one is again the yellow background. The yellow background is spaced about 2 meters away from the actual subject, so you have enough space to work with your light modifiers and the strobes. Then we have point number 2, 3 and 4, which are 3 umbrellas, all 82-inch silver end-lined umbrellas without diffusing material, and they are all on maximum power. Again, to give an even spill onto the yellow background, and in order left and right you have some even spill left and right, and the top umbrella is again to fill the top part. If the top part is off, again you'll have a bit of a degrading yellow to the top. Point 5, 6 and 7, again polyboards. 5 and 7 are huge polyboards which stand left and right of the model. First of all, again with the black side facing the model, in order to get a bit of shadow around your model's face. Also again, these are painted black, so you buy them obviously white, and on another side you can paint them black. This is again to absorb light. If you want to fill, you turn them around and have the white filling. The same goes for point number 6 here, which is the small polyboard strip that you place underneath your model. Again, for your octabox or your beauty dish, whatever you have, to bounce light off that polyboard and fill up the chin a little bit, and also under the eyes, the shadows. So again, that is point number 6, the small strip polyboard underneath the model. Point number 9 again is your key light. Basically again a small octabox, or you can also use a beauty dish, but remember to bring also a diffusing material. Now the key light doesn't need to be too high, otherwise you'll have shadows under the eyes and underneath the chin. Try to place that a little bit lower so you have a more front on light, but also a little bit higher so it spills all the way from the top, not face on. Then if it's not giving you enough pop, you can either choose to go with 125 ISO, or you can push up the f-stops again on your strobe. I've worked here on a medium power, which is around 2.5 for the strobe. We have up to 5 for the maximum, so 2.5 was around middle there. Then obviously number 8 is again your model, and 10 camera. So all in all, again those 3 lights in the back add a nice even light into the yellow background, and from the front a nice key light, nice fill in the face, and with the polyboard at the bottom a nice fill up from the bottom. So that's your basic adjustments just for the light diagram. So let's move over to the first image here, straight out of camera. Again, you guys get to see left and right. We already have our umbrellas lighting up again and making an even light left and right, but from the top it still misses a little bit. So that's again problem number 1. Then the second one here, the key light, it's still too far up and too far away. You guys get to see there's too much shadows going on in her face, so it just looks very, very moody. Also at the bottom, a lot of shadows. So we need to fix that. First of all, move the key light a little bit down and a little bit closer and angle it a little bit better, so it just lightens up the face really nicely. Then also again the polyboard at the bottom to bounce light back in, so the model Lauren here looks nice and fresh and it looks good first of all. Then third point here was also again the umbrella that's still at the top. Power that up a little bit and move the light a bit closer, so again the top part of the yellow also has an even light and matches a bit with the rest. Great. Then for the next shot, again, trying just to look what the sunglasses will give, what type of effect, and obviously the complete outfit. And then you can start shooting. Again, with your model, try to also position everything nicely. Also with your makeup artist or stylist, try to get everything in perfect position, and then you can start shooting. But I've also learned that I actually did a mistake here. First of all, the polyboard that's lying in front of her is actually a bit too big. So that was my mistake. I should have taken a smaller one so you don't see so much reflections in the sunglasses of the model. So that was one mistake that I need to correct next time. Then also on the screen you guys get to see what happens when the top umbrella does not flash. You'll see that the yellow background goes quite dark and we're missing the even light. So again, I just wanted to show that. That's what I use a top light for, just to have an even yellow light again. And then if it doesn't flash, it's quite dark. Great, so that is all for the light setup. But now let's also head over to a few points that you should be aware of. Point number 1, use a small polyboard so that you have less reflections in the sunglasses. Point number 2, try to place the umbrellas, meaning your backlights, at the same power and distance for an even light spill on the background. And point number 3, use big painted polyboards on the sides for the nice shadow effect on the model, and as well to absorb and to make a slimmer face. Great, so that is basically it for the light setup lesson, guys. We're gonna move over now to our third lesson, which is on the computer and right away into Camera Raw with Photoshop.